Hey guys! Today we are going to make a crochet sausage dog. This pattern comes from Crochet Kit from Graine Creative. I made a video review a long time ago and I got a lot of requests to make a video making the toy because instructions are not so clear. I hope that this video will help people who struggle with making the toy from instructions provided by Graine Creative. And also, I have to say I'm sorry to all the people that were waiting for me to post this video. Unfortunately, I lost the booklet and I had to purchase the kit yet another time to make this toy. I had a hard time finding it. I guess it's getting sold out, at least in country I'm in. So, yeah, I guess it's also a way to preserve the crochet pattern. Before we start, I tried to make this video tutorial a crochet along, but I didn't want this video to be hours long. I think entire footage was like 3 hours. So yeah, I sped up some parts, but it shouldn't hinder your ability to make this toy. I also put pattern on the screen, and you can always pause, get back to this video, save it to your playlist, whatever you need to do. Without further ado, let's make the toy. First element we are going to make is the head. We start with black yarn. Round number 1 starts with a slip knot, then we chain 2, then 5 single crochets in second stitch from the hook. I will show you how to do it. Round 2 is 1 increase, so 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, then 4 single crochets. After I'm done with second round, I tighten the slip knot to make it more neat. I do it by pulling by the loose tail. At this point, I also start using stitch markers. I always place one in the last stitch of the round, but I know some people like to put them in the first stitch of a round, so it's up to you. At this point, you can see my hesitation, because I just noticed that we have a color change after this round. That's why I redid the last stitch. What I did, because in the next round we start with color that they call camel, which is like light brown. I did the beginning of the stitch in black, and then I closed it with the new color. I do that with every color change in this project. Round number 3 starts with 1 single crochet in camel, then 1 single crochet in brown, then 1 single crochet in camel in the same stitch as dark brown, and 4 single crochets. So at this point we are done with black yarn. Round number 4 starts with 1 single crochet in camel, then we switch to dark brown and we do 1 increase, 1 single crochet, then we switch to camel and we do 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the last dark brown, then 2 single crochets and 1 decrease. So with decrease we crochet 2 stitches together. At this point I'm going to speed up the footage a little bit so you can still see what I'm doing, but the tutorial itself will not take ages. Round number 5 starts with 2 single crochets in camel, then we switch to dark brown to do 2 increase, and then in camel 4 single crochets. Round number 6 starts with 3 single crochets in camel, then we switch to dark brown to do 2 increases and 1 single crochet. Then we switch to camel and we do 2 single crochets and 1 decrease. Round number 7 is the last round with color changes. We start with 4 single crochets in camel, then we switch to brown and we do 1 increase, 3 single crochets. Then we switch back to camel to do 1 increase and 2 single crochets. Starting from round number 8, we use only dark brown. We start round number 8 with 5 single crochets, 4 increases, and we finish it with 4 single crochets. Round number 9 starts with 1 decrease, 5 single crochets, 1 increase, 2 single crochets, 1 increase, and then 6 single crochets. Round number 10 starts with 3 single crochets. Then we repeat 3 times, 1 single crochet and 1 increase. Then we repeat 3 times, 1 increase, 1 single crochet. And we finish off the round with 3 single crochets. Round 11 starts with 3 single crochets, then we repeat 3 times, 1 increase, 2 single crochets. Then we repeat 3 times, 2 single crochets, 1 increase. We finish the round with 3 single crochets. Round 12. 5 single crochets, 1 increase, 7 single crochets, 1 increase, 2 single crochets, 1 increase, 7 single crochets, 1 increase, 5 single crochets. Next step is to put safety eyes between rounds 10 and 11, in between stitches 7 and 18 of round 10. I didn't do it because I'm too lazy to count, so I just eyeballed it. But yeah, I'm leaving you with that information. After we place the eyes, we have 5 rounds, so rounds 13 till 17 of single crochets. I didn't record everything because there is no point. Just repeat those 5 rounds. This is the end result. At this point, I stopped working with the head and I decided to do the ears first so I can sew them on before I stuff the toy. What I did is I pulled the yarn from the center of the skein and I started working with the yarn I pulled from the inside to make the ears, so I don't have to cut the yarn that I was working with to make the head. I usually try to avoid this mistake, but yeah, it happened. So yeah, we are going to make ears now. Round 1 is similar to round 1 in the head. So we start with a slip knot, then we chain 2, then we do 6 single crochets in second stitch from the hook. Round 2 is a round when we do color changes. So we start with dark brown to do 1 increase, 1 single crochet 2 times. So we repeat 1 increase, 1 single crochet 2 times. Then we switch to camel to make 1 increase, 1 single crochet. Altogether we have 9 stitches. With ears, we start each round with dark brown, so don't forget to close your last stitch with dark brown instead of camel. Round 3. In dark brown, we repeat 2 times. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet. And then we switch to camel. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet. Together we have 12 stitches in this round. Next we have rounds 4 and 5. They are exactly the same. 8 single crochets in dark brown, 4 single crochets in camel. Round 6 starts in dark brown. 8 single crochets. Then we switch to camel. 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, 1 single crochet. Round 7. In dark brown, we make 8 single crochets. Then we switch to camel to make 1 decrease and 1 single crochet. In round 8, we drop camel color and we only do stitches in dark brown. We do 10 single crochets. In round 9, we do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, 4 single crochets. Round 10 is 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeated 3 times. Round 11 is 6 single crochets. Instead of doing round 12, I repeated round 11, so 6 single crochets. Then what I decided to do is chain 1, do 2 single crochets, so I folded the ear the way it should be. I did 2 single crochets through both sides to close it, and then I did a slip stitch. I think it's easier to sew on later this way. Don't forget to make a second ear, because I didn't record making the second ear. So yeah, it's not in the video. Round number 18 is 5 single crochets, 1 decrease, 7 single crochets, 1 decrease, 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, 7 single crochets, 1 decrease, and 5 single crochets. Round 19 is 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, 8 single crochets repeated 2 times, 1 decrease, 4 single crochets. After I finished this round, I decided to sew on the ears. Round number 20 is 1 decrease, 7 single crochets, repeated 3 times. At this point, I decided to stuff the head firmly. I used back of the crochet hook to get the stuffing all the way to the nose. Then I continued with round 21. I will add more stuffing later. Round 21 is 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeated 6 times. I added more stuffing after this round. I think this amount should be enough to finish off the head. Then I continued with round number 22. It's 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeated 6 times. In last round, so round 23, we have 6 decreases. After I'm done with this round, I pull through long tail so I can sew the head shut. And now we have completed head. Well, not exactly, because I will add a brow and I will also make the tongue. Here you can see me struggling a little bit with the brows. I have to say the first brow was okay, but the second, the placement was a little bit off. To make the tongue, we start with a slip knot, then we chain 3. Then we crochet 2 single crochets from the second stitch from the hook. Then we need to sew the tongue at the border of color changes. I did it a little bit crooked, but yeah, I'm not going to fix it. After we are done with the head, we are moving on to making 4 legs. I know that in the booklet you make body first, but I think making all the small elements that you need to sew on first will be easier. It is easier to sew them on while you're still working on the body than after you are done with the body and it's stuffed. I will show you how I made one leg, and then you can repeat this process 4 times. We start with camel color, we tie a slip knot, then we chain 2, then we do 6 single crochets in second stitch from the hook. Round 2 is 6 increases. After I'm done with this round, I tighten the opening, let's call it that, by pulling the tail. I always do that while working in the round after second round. And then I place my stitch marker. Round 3 is very simple, just 12 single crochets. Next up we have round number 4. Round number 4 is 4 single crochets, 4 decreases. Round number 5 is 5 single crochets, 1 decrease, 1 single crochet. Round number 6 is 5 single crochets, 1 increase, 1 single crochet. Round number 7, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, 5 single crochets. Last round is very short, 2 single crochets and 1 slip stitch. Now it's time to make 3 more legs. After we finish all the legs, it's time for the tail. In dark brown, we start with a slip knot, then we chain 2, then we make 5 single crochets into second stitch from the hook. At this point I already put my stitch marker because, as you can see, around 2 to 7 is 5 single crochets. It's very tight, I don't want to lose my count. As I mentioned before, rounds 2 to 7, so 6 rounds total, are 5 single crochets. What is important in this step is to know where inside and outside of your work are, so just keep that in mind. To be honest with you, I hate crocheting such small elements. I struggle a lot if it's not getting wider, but yeah, that's what you have to do sometimes. After we finish those 6 rounds, our tail should look something like this. And our last round is 5 single crochets, 1 slip stitch. Now the only element left is the body. I think this is the element of this pattern that a lot of people struggle with. That's why I got a lot of requests to make a video about it after I posted my review of this crochet kit. To start our body, we need to make a slip knot, then chain 10, then connect 2 ends of the chain with a slip stitch. As you can see, my video footage is a little bit wonky, but when we finish with the chain, you will be able to see a little bit more because I finally moved my hands. Jesus! And this is important part of round 1. So after we connected our 2 ends of the chain, we are going to make 12 single crochets. We are going to make them around the chain. Here you can see that I put my stitch marker in the first single crochet that I made, so I can count them. Afterwards we have 2 rounds of 12 single crochets. It should look something like this. For some reason I lost my footage, so yeah, this is why I do it like this. Next round is very important. That's how we build the length of our sausage dog. So first we do 1 single crochet, then we chain 21. When we are done with our chain, we do 1 single crochet in second stitch from the hook, then we continue along the chain. It will be 19 stitches, single crochets, then 1 single crochet in the same stitch as we the chain in, and then we will continue along the neck, but let me split it up a little bit more. I also marked the start so I can see where I am. Continuing along the neck, we do 3 single crochets, 1 increase. Then we switch to camel color, 3 single crochets. Then we switch back to dark brown, 1 increase, 3 single crochets. Altogether, we have to have 55 stitches in this round. Here you can see me do the color change. I did it the same as with previous color changes, so I would close the last brown stitch with camel, and if we would switch to brown, then I would close the last camel stitch with brown. This is how my project looks after round 4. Round 5 starts with 1 single crochet, then we go up the chain 19 single crochets, 1 increase, then we do another increase, and then we go down the chain 24 single crochets. So some of those single crochets will be on the neck, some of them will be down the chain. Then we switch to camel, 5 single crochets, and in dark brown 4 single crochets. Round 6. 20 single crochets, 4 increases, 24 single crochets. Then we switch to camel, 5 single crochets. Then we switch back to brown, 4 single crochets. Round 7. 52 single crochets. Then we switch to camel and we do 6 single crochets. Then we switch back to brown, 3 single crochets. Round number 8. 6 single crochets, 1 increase, 5 single crochets, 1 increase, 22 single crochets, 1 increase, 5 single crochets, 1 increase, 10 single crochets. Then we switch to camel, 6 single crochets. At the end of this round, we switch back to dark brown and we do 3 single crochets. Round number 9. 3 single crochets, 1 increase, 6 single crochets repeated 3 times, then 10 single crochets, 1 increase, 6 single crochets repeated 3 times, 1 single crochet. Then we switch to camel, 6 single crochets, and back to brown, 3 single crochets. Next up is round number 10. 62 single crochets, then we switch to camel to make 6 single crochets, then we switch back to dark brown, 3 single crochets. Round 11. 63 single crochets, then we switch to camel to make 5 single crochets, and we switch back to brown, 3 single crochets. At this point, I decided to sew on the tail. Round 12 is 28 single crochets, 2 decreases, 30 single crochets, 3 decreases, and then 3 single crochets. So as you can see, in this round we dropped camel yarn. Round 13 is 25 single crochets, 4 decreases, repeated 2 times. Our last round, so round 14, is very short. We only do 26 single crochets and 1 slip stitch. We also have to cut the yarn long enough so we can sew the toy shut. Now we need to attach the legs and sew it shut. Stuff the toy as you go with sewing. And there it is! Finished crochet sausage dog. If you like this tutorial and you want to see more crochet projects, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!